Hi everyone. Welcome to this week's sales training. I want to start doing these more regularly. Thank you for bearing with me as I come back from maternity leave. Let me share this into my Scale Your Side Hustle group. If you are watching live, let me know where you turn in from. If you are watching the replay, let me know where you're watching the replay from. All right, I'm going to go live also on Instagram, and we are going to dive in today. We are talking all about testimonials. Cool. Alrighty, we are live on both. Hello. I hope that this is finding you well. Today, I wanted to talk to you about how to get better testimonials in your business, how to get more testimonials, how to get testimonials that convert. We just want to talk about what this can look like and how you can start using some of this now, even if you don't have that many testimonials yet, even if you're just starting out, even if it's something that feels like maybe you're nervous to ask someone for. I've been there, and here's the good news. We've all been there, right? Everyone that you look up to, people that have insane testimonials, all those comments on social media with people raving about whatever it is they do, they started with zero. So we're all in the same boat. And I want to talk to you about how you can start getting them, how you can have them be very effective in your marketing, because there is a strategy to that, and how to think about this if this is something new that you're just starting out with, or if you don't have any yet, or even if you do have a few, there's a few mindset shifts that I think would be really helpful in helping you make the most of these. So let's go ahead and start. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from, those of you that are here live. And if you have any questions about this testimonial piece, please let me know. Before I dive in, I just want to give you guys a little bit of background in case you don't know who I am. My name is Leah, and I turned my side hustle, which was a blog about my lost millennial life in New York City, into a coaching business and educational platform. And last year was our first 7-figure year, and that happened in a matter of about 5 years. So I share that not to be boastful, but to really emphasize how possible it is for your business to grow quickly when you really give it your all and when you double down, and frankly, when there's no other option except for its success. That is really the key here to a successful mindset and to a successful business, is to really not see success as there's really no other option except for it to be successful. So I love entrepreneurship. I live and breathe it. I believe in it so much. I wish more people wanted to do it or were able to do it, because I think it is such a badass thing to do with your life. But for those that are willing and brave enough and able, I really strive to be a resource for you so that you can do the best with your business, do the best with your sales, and make the most of this crazy entrepreneurship journey. So one of those things, that we can do to make more sales is to get testimonials. I am very fortunate and thankful that we have, I think, like over 100 at this point, success stories of people going through our programs, loving it, and having a better business, life, bank account, you name it, after the fact. So I've definitely seen firsthand the power of testimonials and how they have propelled me, how they have given me confidence, and definitely how they've changed people's minds when they're nervous about buying, right? It's one thing to hear the person selling something tell you why it's so great, but it's another to see proof from other people about why it's so great and what it did for them, etc. So it is very obvious to really any marketer why testimonials are powerful and why we should care about them. So one of the first, pieces of advice I want to offer you, if you are wanting to get more testimonials, maybe you're in that nervous phase of like, yeah, I've worked with a few people, but do they want to give me one? Maybe you don't even have one yet. Maybe no one ever responds to your emails if you're asking for them. I've heard all of those above. So I think a really foundational mindset here that will help you with testimonials, but also will help you in business, is just remembering that, like anything in life, what you give is what you get. What does that mean here? It means that if you want testimonials, you should be giving testimonials. I really prioritize giving testimonials to people who have helped me. If I get an email in my inbox from someone asking if I'll provide a testimonial, I make a point to respond within 24 hours. I will clear other parts of my to-do list to actually give that testimonial back sooner. I am, very eager to give people a video testimonial or be interviewed on their podcast, whatever they sort of need to have that proof that I can give them. And I really believe that if you kind of give out that karmic energy in business and in entrepreneurship, you are then going to receive it back. And this just isn't some woo-woo concept. This is also just about how you're going to be able to attract those experiences and build relationships because of the decisions you choose to make when you are in the opportunity to give someone else a testimonial. And this applies to all of business, not just testimonials. So some other things you can consider are if you want clients that follow through, that don't break their contracts, that don't break their commitments, it's an excellent opportunity for you to follow through, to not break your contracts, to never break your commitments. Obviously, there's emergencies and things happen, but you can have conversations with people instead of bailing on a commitment that you made. And when you do that, you will attract more clients who don't bail on their commitments and who are willing to follow through. Same thing with wanting decisive clients. This is something I hear all the time from people. They'll say, I just want to get in front of people who are ready to pay me money, who are ready to invest, who take it seriously, and who just know that this is what they want to do instead of me having to convince them. Look in the mirror. Are you decisive? Do you know what you want? Do you need someone? Do you look outside of yourself for guidance? Whenever we are experiencing something that we don't want to necessarily or that we think is hurting our business, we can always look at if it's something that we are putting out there. So I just want to lay that foundation because I do think it's a big reason why I've been able to be fortunate enough to have the testimonials that I do and why my clients are eager to support me and to spread the word of what I do. It's because I really try to do that for people that I buy from and learn from as well. So that is, I think, an important foundational mindset to go into this with. What you give is what you get. The more that you can be generous with your own support to others, the more you will get support back. From there, let's talk a little bit about the strategy to getting more testimonials and how to use them. So one of the biggest mistakes I see, especially with newer entrepreneurs, but honestly, even seasoned entrepreneurs don't really tap into this well either, is that they will ask former clients or current clients, let me take a sip of water, for testimonials. But it will look something like, would you be willing to provide a testimonial? And they really leave it open-ended and ambiguous as to what they're actually looking for. This results in open-ended and ambiguous testimonials. Probably a lot of adjectives like, this work was so fun. Leah was nice. I'm glad I did it. Yay. Right? And it's not that those words aren't kind or have an energy behind them or that we don't appreciate them, but the key with testimonials and where they become a really powerful marketing tool is when they're reaching an ideal client or someone who's about to purchase with you and allowing them to see that someone else started where they currently are and is better for having gone through this. So someone liking me or liking my program or thinking that it was nice or fun doesn't really give that additional boost of confidence to someone who's on the fence that this is going to work for them as well. It's really only telling them that they'll probably have fun and that they might like me. So it's up to us as the business owners to sort of massage out that story, since your ideal client, one, probably doesn't even know where to start when giving a testimonial with specifics like that, and two, doesn't have time to think about it. You want to make this as easy for them as possible. So the best way to do this, I don't want to say the best way, I'm trying, my life coach is having me cut out the word best. She says it's a form of perfectionism, but a very effective way to do this is to have a clear idea of your own brand story, which is a different conversation and a different live I'm willing to do one day if you would like. But essentially what a brand story is the story that your brand is telling and the narrative that you're selling and the transformation that you can promise or that you can provide. And if your testimonial can enforce that or allow that to be even stronger, it's building your brand for you and it's building your marketing for you. So let's take a health coaching example here. I always find health coaching to be very easy to talk about because it's so tangible. If you are a health coach and you ask a client for a testimonial and you don't give some of the guidelines I'm about to share, then your testimonial will probably sound something like this. Let's say I'm the health coach. Leah was so inspiring to work with. I learned so much about my health. I feel healthier now, and I'm really glad that I made this investment in my health. That's good. That's helpful. That certainly isn't harmful. And that does spread positivity toward your message. But if you're a health coach and if you have a specific brand story, and even if you don't right now, that's okay. But I'm guessing you have a specific why about health for you. Maybe it is that you never felt like you were in any good shape. You always got picked last at gym, and all of a sudden you were able to run a marathon through certain diet changes and through certain exercise changes and the consistency in them. And that is kind of what you work with your health clients on doing now. Or maybe it's purely about weight loss, which I know is triggering for some people. I'm just using this as an example. But maybe you can talk about how you just really struggled with confidence, with your clothes, with dating, with maybe even work experiences because of a certain weight. And through your certain health coaching methodology, you now were able to lose that weight and not only lose it, but keep it off. Again, just an example here. So that is what we want your testimonials to reinforce. If you're using a former example, having someone come in and say, after working with Leah on her health coaching, I ran my first marathon. I never thought I could run. I never thought I had any cardio endurance, but sure enough, the food she told me to eat and introduce / cut out and the types of exercises she had me introduce worked like a charm, and I was actually able to run a marathon. That is a powerful testimonial. That is the difference between someone hovering over the pay now button and thinking, oh, well, Leah looks like she's a nice health coach and maybe I'll learn more about my health, but is this really worth my money? To them thinking, it is on my bucket list to run a damn marathon. I want to do it. This person did it from learning how, and the person who's teaching me also did it. I can do it too. See what I mean? Same thing with the different health coaching example. That is the difference between someone who wants to lose weight, I can relate to this as I just had a baby, saying, okay, this health coach looks nice and maybe she'd help me and maybe it would add some health to my life, to, oh my gosh, this person knows what it takes to get in the shape that I want to do. And not only do they know how to do it, but whoever else they've worked with also is sharing that they were able to lose that same amount of weight. So I think I can do it too. That is when they are going to purchase. So when you're asking for testimonials, don't just ask for general feedback. Don't even just ask for how they liked the experience. Ask them for where they were before they started working with you and let them get granular with that. You don't have to share the whole testimonial, but if they can kind of share a bit more with you, you can pull out, okay, they were experiencing these pain points that a lot of my ideal clients are experiencing and that I experienced. And through working with me, they now experience what's on the other side. They now experience the other side of the transformation. They now experience these certain pleasure points. So if you can pull those out, it's going to just reinforce the marketing that you have. It's going to reinforce your story, and it's really going to help the person who's on the fence see, okay, I want to go from point A to point B first. Or I want to go as well. So use your story, use direct questions when you're looking for testimonials, and don't be afraid to really, oh, thanks, Neil. And don't be afraid to really dig into those questions with people. It might feel like you're asking a lot of them, but what I found is the more specific you can get with your questions, actually the less time consuming it is for them to write 2 sentences that they have to pull out of thin air and that they're overthinking and they're not even sure where to go with them. So more specific is better, even if it means more questions. And you can allow them to massage it, and you can even ask them permission. Sometimes I will just ask my clients, do you mind if I use certain parts of this? Not in a manipulative way, but just because you don't want to overwhelm readers with an entire narrative, right? So if you can just pull out the key things, then it's going to be more efficient. No one really ever has a problem with that. So that is my biggest tip with a great testimonial, is using your brand story to ask questions to get their story and enforce your brand story. Okay, another great tip I have with testimonials is to ask for your testimonial to be delivered on the medium of your choosing. If you are a TikToker, if you are an Instagrammer, if you do Reels, if you love video, ask someone to take 15 seconds out of their day, whip up Instagram, and record a quick 15-second about how they were exhausted and not confident in what they looked like, and now they feel really confident and they're happier than ever before with what they feel like. Then that is going to be so worth it. I will say that things with videos, not everyone's comfortable doing it. Not everyone will do it, but that's okay. All you can do is ask. And if your audience is used to digesting your content via video, have a testimonial via a video. Likewise, if you are a blogger, don't be afraid to make a whole blog post that includes this story. You don't have to have them write the whole blog post. You can take their testimonial and you can tell their story. We do this with our success stories. We link to people's websites. We talk about what our experience was like working with them. We have entire pages of them on our site dedicated to their story. If your audience is used to reading from you because you're a blogger, you send emails a lot, have these testimonials in written form. If you are a picture person, then don't be afraid to ask for a brand photo to include with their testimonial. A lot of people are really happy to give those. Or something my podcast producer does is just goes to people's Instagram and picks a photo. And you can let them know you're doing that if you feel more comfortable doing that. Usually, I think if it's on Instagram, it's fair game, but whatever you feel comfortable doing. My point is, use these testimonials to meet the audience where they're at. Meet your audience where they're used to seeing you and used to digesting your content, and try to do it in a similar way. So if you're all about video and you're making reels and all of a sudden you're putting up a paragraph of a testimonial, your audience is not going to read it. They just aren't. And it's a bummer because it doesn't matter if it's the best, most glowing testimonial in the world. If they're not used to doing that, and especially if it's a long text like that, which just no one reads anymore, it is wasted space. So make sure that you're cultivating the content you'll share in the same way that you always share content. That's really going to be very helpful. Okay, so that is what goes behind great testimonials. And like I said at the beginning, I also think that the more you share other people's things and the more you just give testimonials without being asked, that's where you'll also get the unsolicited testimonials, which are very powerful. That's where you have people commenting on your posts, resharing your stories, resharing your services because they're so happy with them. And you don't even have to ask for that. So don't be afraid for you to do that yourself. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with asking for that. You can ask people to share their biggest takeaway from a certain class that you had, or you can just ask them to repost or tag you, or any sort of call to action like that. Not everyone will do it. That's okay. As long as some people do it, it's worth the effort. Okay, the final thing I want to address with testimonials, let me take a sip of water. Do you guys have any questions so far? Let me know, those of you that are here live. The final tip I have with testimonials is to never stop estimating the value of your own testimonial. So oftentimes new entrepreneurs have this objection where they say, why would anyone buy from me? I don't have any testimonials yet. I don't have any proof that I'm good at what I do. I want to be so clear about this. I have hundreds of testimonials, and to this day, my biggest proof that what I do works is what you're looking at right now, is me, is my business, and is my story. And it will always be that way. So no matter if you have 0 testimonials or if you have thousands, continue emphasizing your own story as your testimonial, as your proof that you walk your walk, that you talk your talk, that what you're doing works because you live and breathe it. That is so much more powerful than a quote on the internet someone gave you about how much they like you, or even how effective it was for you to work with them. Especially at this day and age with technology and social media being omnipresent and not going anywhere, your story, your brand, and you really matching what you say in your actions is what's going to make people trust you more than anything, and it's also going to make them want to learn from you more than anything. So if you're starting at 0, you're not starting at 0. You always have 1 to start with. That is you. And for many entrepreneurs, they, in some way, shape, or form, were their own ideal client at one point. That's how we knew a problem existed that we needed to fulfill. Sometimes entrepreneurs start businesses because they see a problem in their life, not necessarily that they're experiencing. Maybe someone else experienced it, but you can tell that story too. There's always sort of your why, the thing that really propelled you to do this. That is a testimonial. That is a reason that you created this, and that is a reason why you teach or you share or you provide to other people, because you know what you're doing works because it's worked for you, right? Otherwise, you don't really have a business. You have a problem that you've solved and you want to now solve it for other people. So never stop being quiet about your story, and never stop valuing the fact that you are a testimonial, and that will carry you through the years, the clients, the customers, the reviews, all the testimonials you get from other people. And if you're just starting out, what that really can look like is really sharing your story. Now, I know that when I started, I was nervous about sharing my story. I'm not really a nervous person, as you can probably tell. I don't really have any issue talking or, connecting with people or getting on live video. But I more so just thought, why would anyone care? Why would anyone care about my story? This is a whole different conversation, but I think it's a valuable point. I don't have a rags to riches story. I don't have a broken to built story. Did I go through some challenging things that propelled me to start my business and really move it forward? Definitely, I did. I went through a great amount of grief to really get my business going. And when it started, it was just really a feeling of being very lost, very scared. That was very real. That pain was real. But it was not a very dramatic rags to riches story that you sometimes hear about. And we don't need to have that story. I really believe in wanting to go from good to great being enough. You don't have to wait till your life is in shambles. You don't have to wait till the relationship is horrible for you to get out of it. If you recognize that things are okay but could be better, that's enough. And I didn't know that that was enough. I didn't have the confidence to share that in a way that I thought anyone would care. I thought that unless I really had a triumphant overcoming story, that it wasn't worth sharing. And what I've learned is that more people can actually relate to that good to great arc, to the person who chooses the hero's journey, not that's forced into the hero's journey because they literally have no choice. And ironically, I think a lot of people in that situation still feel like they have no choice. You entrepreneurs out there, I'm talking to you. You know what it's like to be at a 9-to-5 job that you hate, or to feel like you have a calling inside of you that you're suppressing. Maybe on the surface, your life isn't in shambles. You have a job, you have an income, you have a home. You maybe even liked this job for a while or worked hard to get it. You have social life going for you on the outside. You have friends, you have family. Things aren't awful, but there is a sense of you inside that knows that you have to do this like your life depends on it, and it almost feels like your life depends on it. So never underestimate the power of your story, no matter where you're at, no matter where you're starting from, whether you do have that rags to riches story or that I was in a really terrible situation and now I've turned it around type transformation. Or if you don't, or if you just said, hey, I wanted to do something different, or my health wasn't bad, but I wanted it to be better. I wanted to see what else I could unlock by having good health. My relationship wasn't bad, but I decided to see what if I loved myself in a whole new way. I'm just kind of giving you guys some examples here. But those are the type of things, that story is good enough because it will reach the person you can help. They are in the same situation. Maybe they are in a bad situation if you are, or maybe they're not if you are. That's why there's no room for competition. There's room for all of us. We all are able to help people. We all are able to have clients. There's literally billions of people on the planet. There are going to be people that resonate with you, but they can't find you if you don't tell your story. And if you don't continually place your story at the forefront of your branding, of your marketing, of your platform, and remember that it will always be the testimonial, you're missing out on that opportunity. All right, everyone. I hope that you found this valuable. So to recap my outlook on testimonials, they're a very powerful sales tool that you can probably start utilizing more in your business today just after watching this. The first thing is to always remember in business that what you give is what you get, and in life. So if you want to get more testimonials, be the first to raise your hand to offer testimonials to others. Be the first to reply to an email when you get a request for a testimonial. Be proactive and offer a testimonial before you even need for it to be asked. And this goes with anything in business. If you want clients that are decisive and willing to move forward, you also should be decisive and willing to move forward. Once you have that foundation, once you feel like your mindset is really strong, some practical things you can do are make sure that your brand story is tied in with your testimonials and that your testimonials are reinforcing your brand story. You do that by asking targeted questions to your audience or to your clients or customers about their experience with your business, product or service, etc. Where were they when they started? What is their life, business, relationship, health, finances, whatever kind of thing you're helping with? What does it look like now? And how does that sort of mirror or support the story that you use in your branding to really convey why you started this and who you can help? Additionally, make sure that your testimonials are being delivered on the platform that your audience is used to receiving them from. So if you are a TikToker, have video testimonials. If you're a blogger and an emailer, have written testimonials. Make sure that they feel like normal content that your audience is used to consuming, instead of just slapping up something that they are super unfamiliar with and wouldn't even really know what to do with. And then finally, never stop underestimating the value of your own story, your testimonial, you as your best asset. That will be the case from your first testimonial to your 1,000th. And it is never too late to start doubling down on your story, to start really emphasizing why you do what you do, who you were before you underwent the transformation, the help, the product that you now sell, and who you can help who's in that same position. All right, that is it for now. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. DM me if you watch this after the fact. And here is to making more sales in your business. I'll talk to you guys soon.